Yes, so today, and we are meeting together with you, and this 1 hour we will be talking about metaphoric cards and how they could help us to reach, connect animal wisdom and animal power. And also, we will have your short, about 20 minutes demonstration where you will be showing us how to use animal cards. So before we start, shortly, I would like to put questions, maybe some short agenda, what we will be doing and talking about. So yes, one of the questions we will be exploring together with you, why do we need animal wisdom and how we can benefit from the animal wisdom? The second question is how metaphoric arts could help us to connect to the animal wisdom. And the third question is to invite our dear participants and dear listeners who will be listening or watching this video later on to the workshop, online workshop, Animal Wisdom with Therapeutic Arts. And I am Eglė Lisauskaitė. I am from Lithuania. I am coach. I am working with metaphoric cards. I use them in my private session and also in group work. And we are very happy to have you here, Edna Dvir, a holistic psychotherapist, Bach Flower Remedies registered practitioner, trainer of mindfulness, emotional healing, therapeutic arts, and professional development training. So, Edna, what would you like to add about yourself?
Many of the points you already mentioned, so I would skip the titles or the professional background, okay? But I will say, first of all, and most of all, I'm a proud grandmother and a mother of two, okay? And I am an animal lover since very early age, okay? Since very young age, I always loved and was interested in the animal world. I call all my training and my background with this new title that was formed in the last 10 years, I think, holistic psychotherapy, which is combining many different tools of healing. And this is my specialization. I combine Bach and cards and EFT and mindfulness, all the methods in therapy and also in teaching. I am the head of the Department of Holistic Psychotherapy in a college in Jerusalem called Mayanot. And I accompany my students in a 4-year program to become holistic therapists and get all the combination of these tools, okay? I have been a Bach practitioner over 28 years, but I am also an animal Bach practitioner, which is something that is not, I am not active at it anymore. I will tell you more about it later, but I do have a title, which means I got a certificate and I learned a lot about animal behavior. And this is also connect me to animal wisdom and animal cards, okay? And an important thing for me, I'm also a poet and a photographer. And I published a book, and I published it with the help of some of the people who are here already, okay? Tayo, Memi, Ayu. It was a book that I published on a head fund, a raising progress, a program, and people all over the world were involved. This is also a symptom of what many of the people are my friends from different passages of life and different professional roads. This is why I'm so delighted to be here, to be able to introduce it to people that know me, but also to new people and bring this, hopefully, a new knowledge to my students. And I feel young, like I said, Nico, that I still have something new to offer. I hope that this will be my theme, that every year or so I have something new to offer and teach and bring to the world, okay?
Mhm.
I want to say something personal, okay? I'm a very curious and creative person, and I love to learn, to teach, and explore. And one of my animal totems, and I will explain to you what is totem, is like an astrological sign of animal, the animals I was born with, and we will talk about it later. One of my animals totem is a horse. And I think it says a lot about me, okay? I own it. I take the credit of having horsepower in me. Horsepower for drive. I'm very determined. Hopefully, I think I live a bit like a horse with this freedom and flowing and running for long distances and this beauty of movement. I try to live it in my life. But also, horses, when I started learning about them, they have this special feature of pair bonding. I'm not sure everybody knows. Horses in nature, not in stables anymore because we kind of wrecked their natural habitat. But in nature, horses pair with another young horse, not necessarily for mating. It's not the opposite sex. It's like the best friend for life. This is why it's called pair bonding. And then in nature, they take care of each other. They clean each other, they protect each other. And even when one of the pair sleeps on the ground, the other one stands watching. So I think I have this quality of pair bonding with the people I create relations with, my patients, my family, my friends, and I like this part very much. So this is something also about me.
Yeah. And thank you very much for sharing very rich your history, and very interesting to hear for me about the horses. And what you mentioned about peer bonding, it was new for me. I haven't heard about that. So very interesting. So, Anna, how you came to metaphoric cards, or maybe how metaphoric cards came to you? What is the story behind that?
Yes. I think the right question is how did they come to me?
Okay.
Many years ago, many, I think around 30 years ago, okay, I was doing my first Reiki course. Nothing to do with cards, nothing to do with Bach. I was training to be a Reiki practitioner. I became a Reiki master. I taught Reiki. And on my first course, way up north, a retreat for the weekend, people I don't know, the teacher said, let's get to know each other. Let's do an introduction. And she brought out cards. I think it was Osho Zen, but I'm not sure. Some kind of a deck of cards. And for the first time, I got this amazing experience of how people who didn't know each other came from different places, how in about an hour, we were sharing such deep things about ourselves, also including me, okay? And it blew my mind. I said, wow, here is something amazing. If this is what can happen, I want to learn that. And as I said, horsepower, curiosity, I started looking, okay, who are the teachers? What is available in Israel? And it was really in the beginning. So, of course, my first teacher and mentor, I hope she already came, is Dr. Ofra Ayalon, okay? She is, in Israel, she was considered the mother of therapeutic metaphoric art. She brought this tool to Israel. She met it in Europe, and she was the first one teaching it in Israel. And I went to her courses. I'm very dedicated when I decide on something. I took private supervision. I paid for her to help me build my first course. And of course, I went to almost every possible teacher in Israel in the last 20 years. Itzik Shmulevich, who made the animal cards, and Point of View. I became a Point of View trainer for a few years with Yaron and Shani in the first few years that they began their way. Efrat Mayan with the Soul Creature Land. Whenever she started, I not only learned it, I became a facilitator. I taught with her. So, and many others, okay? And I think two things. I'm a card freak, okay? I'm a card freak. That's how I call myself. I have more than 150 card decks in my home from all over the world. And I promise in the workshop to photograph it to prove it. I will photograph the closet with the cards, so you know I'm not lying. I always decide that that's it. I'm not going to buy anymore. I go to another workshop or a conference, and of course, instead of jewelry, I come with cards. And also, I think Israel has become a startup nation in card therapy. I think Israel and the creativity of many Israeli people, we created, I think, the largest number of therapeutic metaphoric cards, and we're still going at it. Every year, people create new. I even supervise some of my students to create a new deck. I'm the mother of about 8 or 9 new decks of my students who wanted to make cards. And when they ask me, why don't you do cards? I said, no, I teach card and I do photography and poetry. This is my specialty. I'm not going to make any more cards, okay? There are conferences in Israel of cards, and I participated. I gave lectures in some of them. I go every year. There is a big conference or a gathering of different teachers, okay? So I use it a lot. I use it in my one-on-one therapy with adults and children and teenagers. I use it in my courses. Some of the people here did with me batch courses, but had therapeutic cards in the course, okay? So it's part of how I combine it. I give yearly courses, which is, if you calculate 24 lessons of 3 hours only on therapeutic cards. In our colleges in Israel, it's like a yearly course. So the students get to taste different kind of cards and activities and understand the language and learn to be specialists in it, and then they can be practitioners in that, okay?
So I hear, Edna, that, what I understood from you are telling us that cards, they are very popular in your country. And it's amazing that there is a whole course, 1-year course, teaching students how to use cards. And I'm very happy that there is one person, I mean, you mentioned already Dr. Ofra Alon. I guess she's the mother of metaphoric cards. And I'm very happy that I know Ofra as well. And I had and I still have a possibility and opportunity to learn about metaphoric cards from the first source. And I see that there are a lot of others Ofra students. So there is one person that started what we're doing here and talking. It started from Ofra.
She started it in Israel. There were other people in Europe that started it. You know, she doesn't take credit for starting it, but she brought it to Israel. And since then, she did produce her own cards, okay, which are amazing. She has her own beautiful decks of cards. She specializes in trauma and many other things. And part of us were in her course just lately. You know, I was a student and now I'm a teacher. So this is part of what is happening. And also, Ofra did a lot of international courses. And I also, I taught some of the courses live, and some of the people are here because I gave a course in the UK. I gave a course in Indonesia. This is why you and Novi are here and Memi are here. We worked with actual cards when I traveled to Indonesia. One of my suitcases was full of cards, okay? We even brought it, right? Remember? So we could sell for the participants. And then I gave workshop in Belgrade, in Serbia. So again, traveling with the cards, doing it live. And with the help, for example, of Tayo, we did a workshop in Japan. I'm still dreaming of coming to teach live in Japan, Tayo. It's not instead of a live course, okay? But the fact that the Zoom and Skype opened up, it enabled us to open a whole new world of how to use this tool also online. And this is something in the workshop I will talk about. I will give ideas also how to use it online and make it something that is more open for everybody.
Edna, I would like to ask where and when do you use metaphoric cards? In which cases?
Okay. I like to say with everybody and every time, okay? Always. So it's very clear that, of course, in therapy, okay, when I want people to open up or when I want to investigate further emotionally a subject, or when I want to open up more of the unconscious areas. So I'll bring close card. So therapy is clear. Adults, children, teenagers. And this is why also we have many decks of cards so we can find the right deck for the right age and the right subject. Okay, this is the reason why to have a diverse number of cards, because then you can choose the right topic for the right audience, which is very important. And this is what I think a therapeutic card facilitator has to learn. It's how to ask questions, how to work with the public, which cards to use, okay? That's the point.
So that's why, as you mentioned, you have the closet of the cards.
Yes, yes, one of the reasons, okay? Yes. I use it also, of course, in workshops, in courses, but the important thing is that it can be also used for social gathering. It can be a social tool, okay? With friends, on an event, for introduction, for taking a subject and exploring it with a group, for improving group communication, okay? Making people feel more comfortable about talking to each other. I use it in family events. Okay, birthdays, special occasions, wishing something, giving presents. Okay, you can give a wish card and talk about it, and it's like an emotional present.
So I hear that you are using the cards in the very different settings. And now I would like to ask you about animal cards specifically. So why animal cards?
Okay.
And why animals? Okay, you already mentioned about animals when you were talking about horses and their special bonding. Okay, that could be one of the sample for us humans how to treat each other. But why animal cards? What is the benefit of animal cards?
Okay. As I said, I love animals. When I was a child, I wasn't allowed to have a dog or a cat. My parents didn't want it. And of course, the moment I got married, since then, many years, I always have either a cat or a cat and a dog at home till today. So I need this proximity. But as a child, and then later on, I substituted this passion for animal with knowledge. So I always loved and I felt drawn to animals. I read a lot. I remember as a child many stories about animals, many fables, many movies. It's a fascinating world, okay? I volunteered at the zoo for a year in high school to get to be closer to animals. And then I worked before my military service in a kibbutz, in a cow shed, milking cows and taking care of calves. So I always needed this proximity to animal. When I was 38 years old, when I was already a mom and a Bach practitioner, I heard about this special animal batch course, and I registered and I took my certification. It's a 2-year course. You have to travel to Wales, to this amazing rescue center up on the mountains, and you have to read tens of books of animal behavior and take a test. And so it was an amazing world that opened up to me, and suddenly this passion got the address. Now I know where I'll be able to put this passion into work. After being an animal practitioner for about 5 years, I saw that I couldn't really implement it as a job. In Israel, there was not enough open door for this. So I decided that I will look for something else, and in a way, looking for and getting close to animal wisdom through metaphoric cards, substitute some of this passion. And I have to tell you that when I went to study to be a batch practitioner for animals, I also decided to start to learn riding horses. So at the age of about 40, I got up on the horse, okay, fell a few times, took riding lessons, joined a riding group, and for 15 years I was up there riding at the mountains outside Jerusalem, being part of this riding club, okay, and also fulfilling my life dream of coming close and living this passion I had for horses, okay. I had to stop a few years ago because of age, but this is also a reason why animals also drew me, okay. So not being able to do it with actual animals, I started looking for the knowledge, for the how can I be close, approximate them. I started with Indian medicine cards of learning my personal totem, like my astrology map. Again, when I get excited about something, whoa, not only learning, I decided that I'm going to teach that and I'm going to specialize in that. And in many years, I also did totems for people. I was working with this animal thing. And through that, found this amazing abundance of many animal metaphoric cards. They exist, okay? They exist, and we will get a small demonstration. There are tens of animal decks all over the world. I have a few of them. I have about 20, and there are more, okay? And you can do amazing work with this animal wisdom, okay? So I not only pass it on to others, I use it also in my daily life. I feel that I'm open to cues and hints. And when I see an animal in a movie, or some butterfly comes to my balcony, or when I walk outside in nature and I see a snake, I see it as a sign that here is animal wisdom trying to teach me something.
Edna, for example, today, do you have any sample of your personal animal coming to your, I don't know, window, balcony, room, or whatever, and bringing you some message? Yeah.
Yes. There was a beautiful butterfly that got caught up in one of the rooms in my house. And beautiful, I photographed it. And I said, if the butterfly came inside, he made sure I will have to see his lesson, because I have butterflies coming all over the flowers in my balcony. But if he came inside, it is something more stronger. So, of course, I went to the books, to the Indian medicine cards and the language of animal and Ted Andrews, which are always next to my bed. And from all the different lessons from the butterfly, today what caught up my attention was the fact that the phase of coming out of the cocoon for a new phase of opening your wings, okay? And it was very appropriate for me for today, because I'm having a big change in my life and I want to spread my new wings. And the wisdom of the butterfly was telling me, yes, it's in your emotional home. It's in your heart. Go for it. Okay.
Yeah, so you already got your sign from animal for today.
Definitely. And I try to do it almost on a daily basis. I'm lucky that I managed to raise my granddaughter in a way that she also loves animal. So I can use the excuse that I watch Disney videos of animals for her, but it's for me. So whenever we see a Disney movie about animals, also I use that animal wisdom to understand what it's trying to tell me. So it's a way that the cards are maybe the professional photograph or format, but the wisdom is available in many more ways and in very simple form, that if we teach about that, it will be available to everybody.
So there were one interesting idea that I read before when I was preparing for our conversation, and it is the idea from the article you emailed me, the symbolic and psychological meaning of animals. And the article begins with sentences: the vast diversity of animals and their unique forms offers unlimited possibilities for symbolic projection. It's widely accepted that the power of such projected symbols is greater than that of simple words. So I understood that, well, we are projecting to each other in positive and negative ways every day and the whole life, actually. And animal cards, to my understanding, it's very good, like visual picture to project power and wisdom that we need from animals.
Definitely. And this connects us to the essence of metaphoric cards. Metaphoric cards are based on symbols and projections. The animal world, hopefully the best way would have been if we could, all of us, leave everything behind, take a flight, take a safari in Africa or in Asia, meet the animals. And I'm sure you all, like me, would like to do that. And then we could get this wisdom from very close by. Look at the size, look at the colors, look at the way he lives, follow the animals. Unfortunately, we're not there anymore. Nowadays, the safari is far and expensive, and we are here with AI and computers, and we're moving forward. But I feel and I believe that for me, one of the reasons the animal wisdom is so important is for me, and I hope to pass it on to people, this is keeping our foot on the ground. This is being in nature, respecting our legacies, okay? Not getting too far away on modern technology and forgetting about the natural world. And animals are the best representation of it, the symbols, the language, okay? And this is also, for me, part maybe of my small contribution that I want to do it. I want to be a messenger for animal preservation, because many of the animals we will meet in therapeutic cards, part of them are already extinct, which is very sad. They don't exist anymore. And part of the animals are on the preservation list, okay? Right? They are rare animals. So because of that, the fact that we can, with our imagination and with this beautiful projective tool, talk about, connect to some of the animals, even though we're not in Africa and not with them, is so powerful. And for me, very meaningful, okay? And this is something that I want to pass on for my children, the other legacy for students. I want us not to forget our roots.
So
Exactly.
it
can be in nature, in plants, but for me, I like the department of animal wisdom. Okay, this is
So, Edna, as you are prepared for demonstration, as you mentioned about safari and the possibility to meet possible animals, so let's go to safari in our imagination in a very ecological way. We will not be flying anywhere.
Yes, in a demonstration.
Let's travel in our imagination.
Okay, you want me to show the demonstration and then we talk about the workshop?
Yes, about the workshop.
Okay. Now let's see if I'm good at nature, but I'm not so sure I'm good with technology. Let's see. Yeah, good. Is my presentation on?
Yes. Yes, very good.
I practice on that, okay? I'm better at petting animals than technology, and my students know about that, okay? It always gets me a little bit edgy when I have to work the technology. So what I wanted to offer to you as a small demonstration, it's not going to be work in Zoom and sharing. It's just for you to kind of open your mind and get a present or small present from this meeting is the chance to invite you all to get for today an encounter, a short encounter with an animal guide, okay? Just to ask yourself, and we will choose who is my animal guide for today and what he wants to teach me. Like Eglė asked me about the butterfly who walked into my house. Which animal is going to come today to your house or your surrounding, okay? So I want you, I said technology, okay. I want you all to choose a number from 1 to 12 and write it down on a piece of paper, because then you'll be able to use it and talk about it and so on. Okay, I'll wait a minute. From 1 to 12. Okay. Now, after you have the number, find your number on the map. Okay. Again, we've done it a lot. Find your number on the map of the location. And now find your animal guide in the cards that I will show you in the moment according to the location on the map. Number 1 is on the top left. Number 12 is on the top, on the bottom, on the right. And I'm just saying the name of the animals, so we are all on the same page, okay? Number 1 is a camel. Number 2 is an eagle. Number 3 is a hummingbird. Some repeat here, okay? Number 4 is an ant. Number 5 is a hummingbird again. Number 6 is a leopard, okay? A tiger or a leopard. Number 7 is stork, okay? The one that brings baby, the stork, okay? The one that flies or in the legends bring babies, okay? Number 8 is the whale. Number 9 is the ant again. Number 10 is the whale again. Number 11 is the eagle. And number 12 is the gazelle, the deer, the female, the gentle deer, okay? So write for yourself near the number the name of your guide for today. And I invite you also to take your phones and take a picture of the screen and maybe even enlarge your own animal guide. And when we will work on the workshop, at the workshop, I will be sending you on real time in WhatsApp all the cards we will work with, so you will have them for your use. Today, it's just for demonstration, okay? So I'm waiting a minute to make sure that everybody found his animal guide, wrote the name, okay? And in a minute, I will tell you what we're going to do. But first, that's how we get who is my animal guide for today. This is why I put the numbers on the top and on the bottom so you see the lines, okay? And yes, we're talking only about 8 guides today, and I repeated some of them. But this way you see the different card decks. Look how beautiful the drawings are of different card decks and different people who did the card animal decks, okay? All right, so everybody has his own guide. Now, I'm going to give you a few minutes, and yes, I want you to think, and while I talk, you think. We don't share, but it's for you to get the knowledge, okay? How do we look at animal guides, okay? What kind of questions? Of course, on the workshop, we would enlarge it and elaborate on those questions. Today, I'm just giving you a small taste of it, okay? When we meet animals, animal wisdom, or again, they are represented in the cards, the questions that we want to ask to make them our guides is, what can I learn from this animal, okay? How can it guide me with his traits? And when I say traits, I mean on his size, where he lives, in what kind of habitat. In a minute, I will give example, okay? But I look at the animal from all kinds of different aspects, and some of the animal have something to teach me in each one of these aspects, and some of the animals have unvaried, okay? Not everything is important. So when we talk about the question of core essence, is more this like psychological thing that we all know about animals, okay? When we say a horse is horsepower, when we say butterfly is freedom and lightness, and when we say about a lion, he's the lion king, he's the strongest of the animal. And when we say about a bear, we say about bear hug and protection. This is the first thing that we human attribute to animals. And sometimes it can be very important because this is our connection. And then we try thinking about, is there, not always necessarily, is there an psychological or an emotional theme that this specific animal wants to teach me, okay? If we talk about, for example, the snake, the fact that the snake sheds his skin, is he trying to teach me emotionally that I can also change and shed my appearance and be able and ready to go to a next phase? Or when we're talking about deers or animals that are very quick, that run, leopards, tigers, okay? Is his velocity, his speed, the ability to do things fast, is it an emotional theme that I need right now, okay? And in a moment, I will even show you more about our guides. When we ask ourselves about the habitat, ask yourself, where does your animal live? Like, is he a water creature? And water means emotions, flow. All the animals of the water world represent emotion. Is he a sky creature, a bird? Does he fly? And the skies are spiritual, thoughts, cognitive. Is he an animal that lives on the earth? And earth means action, movement, having to do something. So even in this small question, what kind of animal I got today, according to his habitat, is already telling you in each area of your life, you need to learn something today. Maybe in your spiritual part, or maybe in your physical part, or maybe in your emotional part. But there are more questions about habitat. Is it an animal, for example, like the leopard or the horse that lives in great distances? Or is it an animal like the ant that his habitat is very small? And then again, what do I need to learn from that? Should I put myself in a smaller habitat, or maybe it's time for me to go out and go to great distances? Okay, so these are examples of habitat questions. Size and physical presence. Did I get a big animal like a bear or an elephant, and it means that I need to work on presenting myself bigger to the world and allowing my size to come aboard and people to see me? Or did I get a small, I remember how you call it, the one that works in the ground, okay? Or a small ant or a small mouse, and it teaches me that I need to bring down my appearance or allow myself to do things through the small ways and not in big steps. So size, appearance, is it a very colorful animal like some of the birds or the butterflies? Or is it a very gray animal and maybe I need to change my physical appearance? So all those things about the animals are lessons. What is his social structure? Does he live in herds, in groups, in close families? Is he an animal that likes to live alone? And what can I learn from that? Do I need to find my buddies or my family or my community? Or do I need now some solitary time and for my personal growth? So again, those are questions. And the last one, and there will be many more on the workshop, we will get even more elaborated questions and examples of how to kind of pick the wisdom from so many aspects of animal, which is amazing, okay? It's endless. I am still learning and buying books about that because there is always more aspects to understand about this amazing world of nature. How they express themselves. Is it a loud animal? Is it an animal that has loud voice? Or is it an animal like the dolphins that communicates in sonar and in silence? But they are very communicative, okay? So what is my communication language that I can learn now or I can improve? So I hope by these examples and what I want to show you, you're starting and write for yourself. Don't miss out on getting your insights for today. I prepared the small demonstrations, okay? I worked on it. I enjoyed preparing it on the 8 guides that I chose for today. And I chose quotes and a small explanation. So, like an eagle carrying its young on its wing from autonomy, eagles represent the true protection, and it's not control, okay? It's a presence, it's growth. They carry it, they protect it, but with great presence. Remember the wise saying in the proverb, go to the ant, you lazy one, see its way and be wise, okay? לך אל החכם, לך אל נמלה עצלן, למד דרכיה ותחכים, okay? The ant represents this small, tiny tenacity of doing things, of preparing for the winter, of carrying things, okay? Of being responsible. So again, what can I learn from this ant's responsibility and wisdom? The leopard, the saying says, can a leopard change its spot? Okay, the patterns are so deeply rooted in us, okay, that first of all, and this is therapy, leopard is a very therapeutic, we have to see our spots, we have to see our problems. So the question is, do we see it? Are we aware of our spots? Can we now work with that? And of course, the leopard has a lot to teach us about velocity, strength, freedom, wide range of territory. The gazelle, the very gentle female deer, okay, that appears in the Song of Song as one of the metaphors for true love, okay? The gazelle represents the gentleness, and that being gentle is not weakness, okay? It's a special kind of strength. And maybe sometimes that's what we need. You know, we go full power and straight ahead and my horsepower. Sometimes we need to do things in a gazelle way, gently, quietly, more subtle, okay? Great lesson to learn here. The stork, the one that we were told brings the baby, okay? But even the stork knows the seasons, when it's time to fly and migrate and when it's time to stay, okay? So the stork represents a sense of timing, of being able to know in your life when it's time to move, when it's time to listen, when it's time to stay. And there's a great lesson to learn from that, okay? The camel cannot see his own hump, okay? That's what the Persian proverb said, okay? And again, as a therapeutic or an understanding, whatever we don't see in ourselves, okay, sometimes we project it on others. So maybe there is a lesson to see if you are being too critical or too judgmental of others, maybe it's your own hump you're carrying. And also the camel has this amazing long distance ability. So he's teaching you a lesson of taking a project and going it very slow, long distance. Don't worry, there's water in your hump. You'll be able to pass and do the work you need, okay? The whale, of course, in Indian proverb said that you cannot search for a whale in a pond. You have to go into deep waters, okay? So some of the wisdom and whale represented is not on the surface. It's very deep. You have to merge in, dive, okay? We have to go into very deep emotional waters to find the wisdom. So if you got the whale guide today, is telling you, go deep, research, merge into the water, find the wisdom inside, okay? And the hummingbird, one of my favorites, one of my very close guides, because I have 2 hummingbird feeding posts in my balcony. So I get to see hummingbirds every day, okay? I made sure with this feeding sugar water, I get to see hummingbirds every day. And they are so gentle, okay? And so beautiful. And again, the hummingbird is the only bird that can fly upwards, downwards, backwards, and forward, okay? Which is a great lesson to be able to be flexible, okay? Whenever I get stuck, I go, and if I am lucky and a hummingbird comes to the post, I say, okay, everything is okay. If he can fly like that, I can also learn. So sometimes the presence is so small, so delicate, but also so beautiful, okay, that this is the hummingbird lesson. So I hope with my demonstration and the questions, you can get some kind of guide for today and get the idea of what we're going to do, of course, in the workshop in a much more developed way with activities and stuff like that. Just to show you that today, for the 8 guides, I already used 5 different card decks, okay? 5 different card decks just for today. some in Hebrew, some in English, but you can see the diversity of the card decks, and I have more, many more for you to explore with me. And I'm sure that by June I'll have at least one more, because impossible not to use it. Okay.
Edna, thank you very much. I enjoyed your demonstration, and my number was 7. And the stork it said that it's our national Lithuanian bird.
Wow. Wow. That's wow. Wow.
So the message I took for myself from the stork, it's timing to know when to move.
Good.
So yes, we have storks, and they are leaving us at the end of August, and they are coming back at the end of March.
Yes,
so
and we get to see them on the way. You know that we are in Israel on their flight route, and there are special places in Israel like Hula and Magan Michael, where these are bird watching stations, and we take the children to see the storks in the fall and in the spring.
Yeah, so thank you very much for this very ecological way to go to safari. And Edna, what we are going to do during the workshop on June 19th?
Okay.
Animal wisdom with therapeutic cards.
Okay. So it's a 3 hours workshop, okay? And I will be offering you a voyage, again, to get to know more about the animal wisdom and the therapeutic arts, okay? And get more of the lessons. We will work with many different decks of cards. I will put them on the screen like I did today, and at the workshop, I will send them in WhatsApp, so it will be much more available. But I will also teach you and ask you before the workshop to come with your own cards or prepare photos, and I will show you how easy it is to work with this animal wisdom, even if you don't have the right therapeutic card deck box. Okay? This is something that I feel is very important. I will talk about how I will have different activities, much longer, with stories and fables and background, and also some psychological and symbolic background about animal traditions all over the world. Okay, it's something that has been developed through thousands of years, animal wisdom in many cultures. Okay, and I will talk about how to use it on one-on-one, how to use it with a group, the difference between, a little bit the difference of children and adults, okay? So I think my aim is that everybody who comes for the workshop, 3 hours is not enough to know everything, but will come out with also some tools that you can implement in your own work or life. This is my aim, not only knowledge and experience, but also practical tool to be able to use it later in your life. And I hope that not only will I get the participant on boards for this time for loving the animals and wanting to develop, that maybe from that thing I will have my bus of tourists that want to do the safari, and we can have 4 or 5 sessions, and I will get more animal enthusiasts with me on this beautiful road, because I find it very important, okay? And again, maybe one day somebody will organize the actual safari in Japan or in Asia or in this, but for now, this is what I want to offer, okay?
So we are going to have very practical, very experiential workshop during which we will have possibility to experience by ourselves personally how metaphoric cards, how animal cards works. So
and I want to promise, and something that my students know, I can promise fun. Fun.
It's very important part.
Word, okay? Otherwise, there's no point of coming to my workshop or anybody else's workshop, okay?
No.
Yes. Also fun. And I will combine it with music, with videos. It has to be something that, make your heart want to dance with the animals. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So Edna, thank you very much for today. Thank you being for here. Thank you very much for sharing your rich knowledge. And let's finish this fun and let's hope to see all our dear participants on June 19th.
Okay. And